Jake, welcome to Surface Area. Thanks for coming.
Oh, surface area. I love it. I'm in New York City. I love New York City.
It's the best city in the world. I want to read a quote to you, by you.
Don't scare me right now.
If you're not storytelling, you're fucked. You are behind. Explain the philosophy beneath this line.
I think the most important thing in the world is who you are and sharing that. And what I mean by that is like, you could have the best product, the best service, the best SaaS, the best editing software, the best chocolate bar. But if no one knows who you are, it doesn't matter how good the product or service is because it's irrelevant. So indirectly, you're fucked. And the best way to get yourself out there to get attention is to do something that we've been doing for thousands of years or hundreds of years as humans. We'd be telling stories. And for some reason, at one point, I don't know where this happened, we stopped telling stories in business and even ourselves. And I think it has to do with a little bit of conformity, of being scared of what others think of us or scared of our business getting hurt from, saying the word fuck, for example. But at the end of the day, we're in this era where we crave authenticity, we crave belonging, we crave being part of something. And the easiest way to do that is to share your story. So I think that, again, you're fucked if you don't share your story because someone's going to make the story about you. They're going to choose the story or the narrative they want to create. Why wouldn't you want to control your narrative as long as it's true to you and it's actually real? You're at a loss otherwise. So that's my big thing. And I realized it in all different businesses, from fitness that I've done, fitness boot camps, to throwing parties, to selling snack bars. Storytelling has been the easiest way to get people's attention and to get people to care. And once you have that, you can sell them anything.
I wish I went to one of your parties. I feel like they would have been pretty lit.
But I was stressed. I used to go to these parties and I was worried about the floors falling, like people, I don't know, it was anxiety. That was an anxiety, really high adrenaline time in my life.
Yeah. You're in CPG, consumer packaged goods, which is one of the hardest industries to be in. At what point did you realize that the product was actually your visibility and not the actual bars that you guys are making?
Well, when I started with my sister and brother-in-law. So this is a family business, but we didn't go into business because family. Like, we all are very different. They're great operators. I'm a horrible operator. I'm a good brand builder. They're getting better at brand building. But the truth is we came into this business on August 4th of 2018. We were hand making chocolate bars. No one knew who the hell we were. We were making these chocolate bars. And the idea was, we knew we had product market fit because the product was built on data. It wasn't just like out of thin air. It was built on, we knew two categories were growing really fast. My sister was making this snack for 2 years prior for my brother-in-law. So we knew that some people would like this product once they had it, but you had to get trial. You had to get people to care, to want to try it, to actually consume this. So I said to them, we need to be loud. We need to be wild. We need to be the product at the beginning because we need people to emotionally connect to this brand. And the way to get them to emotionally connect was actually share the stuff, actually get emotions, do real things, feelings. People don't remember the features. They don't remember the benefits. They remember how you made them feel. So I said to my two partners who are introverts, I said, guys, we are going to get on camera. We are going to document and share it all. And they're like, what does that even mean? I'm like, just put an iPod up, a tripod with a camera, and let's film and share raw content. And at the time, 2018, that was crazy.
So early.
No one was doing it.
No.
Or very little people were doing it. There was a lot of just like more Hollywood doing it. So I said to them, and they said, we'll give it 6 months. So we started posting content, and guess what? 10 views, 20 views, 100 views, 1,000. And not only were they views, they were people engaging, writing, oh my God, this is so interesting. Oh my God, what happens next? And then they'd be like, can we buy the product somewhere? Next thing you know, they're not just buying our products because they watch the story and they love it. They're starting to say they're fans of ours. They're going to other retail partners saying, you got to get this product in your store because they're on fire, because that story starts to domino and have a ripple effect because it made someone feel something, so they want to share it. So we became products of our story, but also having product market fit. We knew that once people heard our story and tried the product, there'd be a repurchase. Because again, I know we said at the beginning, if you don't storytell, you're fucked. But the truth is you're fucked also if you don't have a good product.
Right.
Because you could tell the best stories in the world to get the most attention. If someone buys it once and they don't buy it again, that's trouble. Unless you get everyone in the world to buy your product, which it's quite hard. It's a large surface area.
You guys are trying.
We're trying.
You're trying.
We're not in the. We haven't reached billions of people yet. We've reached millions, but not billion.
Soon. This is why I was so excited to have you on the show, Jake, because I think you understood this very early. And even going on LinkedIn, which interestingly enough is like where you hang out a lot of the time. And you go on there and it's like a lot of people, I'm excited to announce, whatever. And you're on there. And even your title is very interesting. Your title is Rainmaker. And I think you're probably the only person on LinkedIn who has the title Rainmaker. And one of the things you say is that your job is to build relationships and to make noise. What does making noise mean to you exactly?
It's making sure that as many people think about our business. So we're top of mind in their business. So how do I do that? Well, LinkedIn's a great platform. I have no affiliation with them. I'm just a fan of the product that they have because there's a limited amount of content on there and there's a lot of conformity in terms of the content. So the moment you just be you within your journey of corporate or personal, I would suggest business, your journey of business, but personal to you. Once you start sharing that, you're automatically different. So the content pops. And what ends up happening is people start to look at it because it's like, imagine scrolling, seeing everything the same and then boom, something different. You're like, whoa, what is this? You may not like it, but you look at it, you pay attention. So I started posting on LinkedIn years back and I used to post like what everyone else did and it got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 views. And then I posted myself dancing half naked in a grocery store, having the time of my life, just having fun, emotions, boom, virality. Next thing I know, I realized that if I just am myself and I stop listening to the rules I'm telling myself of be like everybody else, it's a corporate platform, you got to be serious. The moment I let go of that story I was telling myself and I just told my story, instantaneously opportunities start to come. And I'm talking like big opportunities. Investments, media, retail, new team members. Next thing you know, I'm building an actual community on this platform. You said hang out. I hang out there. I vibe with people. I meet people from all over the world.
That's how we met.
Exactly. And now I'm grateful that I got to meet you because I love your energy. I love your vibe. We've hung out many times. We've gotten deep convos because we met on LinkedIn first. And some people will say LinkedIn is this platform that's like, some people judge me. They're like, you post too loud and too wild. That's perfect. I don't care. Yeah. Why? Because if I'm not loud, then no one's going to know what we're doing. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to build this business and I need to do everything in my power because my job is to make noise, to make that noise. And I'll never forget, I was at a conference like a week ago or 2 weeks ago and the person that introduced me called me the Rainmaker. And I think she started laughing because she didn't know if it was serious. But the truth is that is who I am.
It is serious.
And I'm super proud of it because at the end of the day, a rainmaker is someone that just brings in relationships, brings in opportunities for the team so that they can do their job better. And I think every organization should have a rainmaker. Doesn't matter if you're in chocolate, plumbing, in legal, someone that focuses just on relationships. That way your team can execute their operations. And then when they need that relationship, they just ask for it and it's already been built. That's what a rainmaker does. And it's a funky name. You're right. It is funky and people laugh all the time, but it's genuinely who I am.
Yeah, I love it. And another thing that I really appreciate about you is that you preach this message of authenticity, which is really important. And I know you've had your own journey with it, but it's beautiful to hear how as soon as you started being yourself, opportunities came to you. Another thing that you talk about a lot is relationships and how relationships are really crucial. And I realize as I'm building my business, the relationships are key, but a lot of people listening are probably curious how you do that. How do you go about cultivating relationships that are genuine and meaningful and lasting?
The number one thing I do is I make sure I can see that person in person. And I take trips every week to different cities for let's say a big retail meeting or a big conference I'm speaking at. And as I know I'm going to that city, I spend an extra day there. And what I do is I reach out to as many people that I think are cool and fun or interesting, have some sort of entertainment or value that I believe. I don't even know them. I just watch them. And I say to them, hey, you have 5 minutes. Let's go for coffee or let's go for a drink. I'm in your city. And I send this about like 3-4 weeks in advance. And then if they don't answer, I send it again. And they'll be like, okay, I have 5 minutes at this time. Boom. I show up. Why? Because serendipity is this beautiful thing. And the only way, in my opinion, to get the real serendipity is to actually be there, be present, feel the energy, feel the human. You see things, you learn things, you hear things. And I find that, look, Zoom and FaceTime and all that stuff is fine, but it's not the same as the serendipity that comes from in person. So what started as one meeting I would get in New York for a 2-day trip is now at 20 meetings in a trip because guess what? The surface level of being loud on social media, telling your story, people start to see you. It compounds and compounds and compounds. And then when you start to reach out, people are like, oh yeah, I want to hang with you. You're funky. You're wild. Let's hang. 5 minutes ends up turning to 20, ends up turning to 30. And next thing you know, you're building these relationships. So again, you need to look at it as a long game, not a short game. And the same thing applies to entrepreneurship. It's not a 2-year overnight success story. It's a 20-year overnight success
100%.
story. Apply that to relationships. Just because the person's not available today doesn't mean they don't want to hang out with you next time. So stay consistent. Don't harass and do anything weird like that. But be respectful, be kind, be you. And eventually your time will come. But you need to be able to get on a plane, get on a bus, get on a subway, get on a metro, get in a car.
On a bike.
And
catch
just
a
show
blimp.
up.
Show up.
We're living in a blimp is hot. I've never been on one. If you want
Me either.
like a hot air balloon,
You guys should do that as a stunt.
we should do a hot
just
air
like
balloon.
a midday squares hot air balloon. And
I'm
you
petrified
just drop.
though. I'm fucking petrified.
Well, get
That-
your sister and brother-in-law
Yeah, they'll
to
do it. I'll be at the bottom waiting. Hello, how are you? But showing up, in a world where it's so lonely, even though we're so connected via social, it's such a lonely world.
It is.
Show up because people genuinely appreciate the effort.
How many people do you reach out to before a trip?
A lot.
Like what is it? A dozen?
This trip that I'm on with you,
Yeah.
I reached out to, I don't know, like 35,
Okay.
and I got about 20.
And how are you choosing them? Is it like
All different aspects.
like investors? Like because people are going to borrow this playbook. So like how?
100%. And I actually want people to use it because the amount of opportunities that have come from this playbook is incredible for midday squares, but it shouldn't just be for me. It's an abundance. It's not a zero-sum game. You could use it. I could use it.
Pie
We
is
all
very
win.
big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. Give it to my competitors. I don't care. This is it. I reach out to like
Here,
30,
this Cadbury.
30 yeah.
This is what you need
Yeah,
to be
I
doing
love
to
that.
beat this guy.
30. I don't know. I reached out to 35 people and I got 20. So that's
Damn,
pretty high.
that's great.
But weeks in advance and the dates and exactly when
Times.
I would give times. And if they ask what I want, I always say the same thing. I just want to get to know you. And the reason being is I'm not trying to raise capital right now. If you're trying to raise capital and you're reaching out for those relationships right away, it becomes rushed. It becomes a goal, a transaction, which makes the energy slightly different. If you reach out with the intent of just like, hey, we're building something and you're not in a rush, people feel that energy too. You're calm, you're relaxed. We're not raising money on this trip. I gave a presentation. I had 7 or 8 meetings today. It was just introductions. It was just vibes. They asked me, what did you want? I said, nothing. Just to get to know you. Guess what? We texted after. Next thing you know, now I'm in their city again. Hit them up again. Let's go for a drink. Boom. It just keeps multiplying and compounding. And there's a lot of plants in here. You have to water plants to grow plants. It's the same thing with relationships. Keep watering them. Don't just think because you had one coffee, it's going to come back to you. It might, but the odds are that you got to go again. We've gone multiple times together and now we're here together. But it took many times of more than 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, different settings. We went for a drink, we went for coffee, we went for lunch. We mixed it up.
Yeah.
But we got to know each other's energy a little bit more. And then we studied each other online because we cared to.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
It does. It's beautiful advice. I want to ask you, you were very early understood that growing audience and attention online was going to be the difference between midday squares being successful and not successful. And there's a real movement that's emerged, this go direct movement, where a lot of founders now are like, fuck the media, don't need them, they don't understand me. But you're different because when you get coverage, you celebrate it, you shout out the journalists. There's a lot of respect there. It sounds to me like media coverage and your media relationships are also very important to you. So talk to me about how you see the two and how you treat these two channels for promoting what you're doing.
It would have been fun to meet you in your media days.
Oh, I would have been like,
yeah, it would have been tough.
Hard ass,
It would have been
you
hard
think
ass.
this is friendly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. That's why I'm so curious. But you're right. I actually celebrate media. And, some people say traditional media is hurting and all this stuff. Maybe it is. I have no idea. But every time I get a piece or coverage or anything like that, I'm super grateful. Why? Because number one, a lot of these media outlets I read growing up, they were there at a moment for inspiration for me. I read some great content, and it still takes a lot of time for a journalist to do their craft. And you might not like some of the opinions they have or the views or whatever they write about, but it's a craft. It takes time. It's not easy. And it's a lot of work. So I respect all of that effort. And then once I have the coverage, it's not just their audience. I know how to amplify that on my own socials, because then people are like, okay, there's notoriety, there's content. They may not even read the full article. I hope they do, but they might not. But the idea is that you're associated and you're winning in quotations with them. And for me, like, I come from a mindset of positivity and optimism, even when times are hard. It's not happy-go-lucky, but it's like, I know the reality. But at the end of the day, gratefulness and actually celebrating others goes a a lot further than putting people down and being negative. And by the way, since beginning to get coverage at the beginning and being positive has led to other people having respect or wanting to be curious about us. That has led to another relationship. Someone saying, oh, you got to meet this person. They'll cover your story. Boom. And then it just keeps multiplying. And by the way, why would you not want to celebrate? Unless it's a very negative piece, which sometimes is the case.
Yeah.
But then there's other ways to deal with that. And I think that, I don't know, I've learned a lot that anyone that gives you a spotlight or gives you some place to shine, that's something to be grateful for, because they don't have to. You don't have to talk about Midday Squares. You don't have to talk about Karls. So anyone that is even willing to, I'm super grateful, because without all of this compounded stuff of people shouting us out, sharing our story, winning with us, we don't have a business. I'm not here with you today. So that's how I look at it. And that's the emotion I feel from it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I agree with you. And I think going direct and ignoring reporters has been popularized. And I don't think that's the whole equation.
And some people have bad experiences.
Absolutely.
I can't take that away.
That. Yeah.
But the experiences I've had have been quite good. And the people I've met have been awesome and genuinely curious. And for me, it's just like, I'm building a business. I'm a Rainmaker. I need to make as much noise as possible. I need to make sure our story's out there as much as possible. And I will go and meet and hang and do whatever I got to do. And the truth is a lot of the time I meet these people, I'm not even asking them for share our story. I'm just hanging and I'm building a genuine friendship. And if a story comes that makes sense for their mission and their drive that they have, and Midday Squares fits that story because we're telling an interesting story, they're going to cover it. And the beauty is it's a win for everybody. And look, not everyone's perfect. There's bad apples in every industry, but I've met a lot of good people doing that. And again, use it to your advantage. Tell the story on your own social after, multiply the views. People know they've seen these brands. There's notoriety to it. Use it. Yeah.
And you'll also be Forbes 30 under 30 for the rest of your life.
I'm not 30 anymore though, but I am Forbes 30
You're going to be in a retirement village somewhere and you're going to be like, I was Forbes 30 under 30.
But you know what? People always chuckle at that one. They always do. And listen, they've been awesome to me. The Forbes team's been awesome.
That's great. Let me ask you, your brother-in-law and sister-in-law are co-CEOs with you behind the scenes. How do you navigate? Has there been any resentment as you've been out, being the Rainmaker? You're not involved in the day-to-day operations, or maybe you are.
Nope.
But how do you guys navigate the fact that you have a very different role and it's basically just like make as much noise and rain as possible while they're, in the warehouse, they're tinkering with the product, they're dealing with the people. We do you guys navigate that?
So we go to therapy every 7-10 days together, which is critical for communication and alignment. So we don't go because we go because we're family and we want to protect the love that we have for each other, because they're married. My sister and brother-in-law. And I'm very close to them as a friend also. So that's number one, is protect that. Number two is protect the communication within the business. We all have very different lanes in what we do. And we need to make sure that we're aligned as we grow this business, because building, as you said at the beginning, CPG, consumer packaged goods, is one of the most competitive industries in the world to scale. And it's really hard. The data just shows it. And the pressure gets tough. There's tension. You can't let that tension build, because if it does, it explodes the business, but it also could damage our family, which is more important than the business at the end of the day. So number one, we do that to protect communication. So given that, the second thing is my brother-in-law once said to me, he said, people always ask me, they always message him saying like, oh, yo, Jake's on this big stage. He's on TV. He's on this. He's doing podcasts. You guys are grinding and building a factory. Like, how do you feel about that? And it's multiple times been asked that. And he says, at the end of the day, we're all doing our art. And the art's what leads to the greatness of the organization. And this is a collective effort. So he gets amped up. They get amped up because they know that I'm, number one, being myself and having fun doing it. And number two is we're all doing the best that we can to build this business at the superpowers that we have. So once you understand that, it's not an ego thing. It's that it's a collective effort to win. And I'm super grateful that my partners have that and allow me to do it. They don't even know where I am half the time. They only know because the credit card comes in and it's like, swipe this hotel, swipe
Dunkin'
that.
Donuts in the middle of nowhere.
They're like, yeah. Like, what are you doing in Kentucky? I'm like, oh, I had to take this opportunity. They don't even question it. Why? Because the trust has been built. The trust has been built over 7.5 years of communication with each other, of alignment, and of showing up and giving it our all, no matter what the thing has been.
No matter what it looks like.
Yeah. And same thing goes to them. I don't even know what's going on, which is crazy. We have a fully automated snack bar factory. We have tons of customers. I couldn't tell you what's going on. And people judge me for that. But the truth is I'm focused on my art. And if I'm on my art, don't worry about me. I'll share with you what's going on. Like today, I'll call them. I'll say, guys, I met XYZ, I had a great conversation, great podcast. They'll be like, okay, super cool. We'll watch it when it's out, you know? And like, that's the energy. And again, if you're building a business with friends, family, or even someone random, make sure you protect communication and you align throughout the journey, because you can get jealousy, envy very quickly, and then things can explode, because some things are glamorous and some things are ugly. I don't do the ugly. I do the glamorous stuff, which is still hard.
I don't think what you do, I think what you do is hard.
It's painful.
Constantly
I'm on 120
on the road,
flights
away
here.
from your wife.
Yeah, my wife is my number one, like, you know, and like, I'm not home right now. I'm in New York. You know, she had an emotional week and I'm gone. And then I come home late at 12 a.m. on Thursday. And then I wake up and see her at Friday, but then I'm back on the road on Monday. So like, it's not easy. That being said, if you put me in manufacturing, if you put me in ops, I would fail miserably. Play to your strength. Have partners that play to your weaknesses, or teammates that play to your weakness. That's how you win big.
How much of Midday Squares' enterprise value is the product versus the audience that you've built around it?
So I don't know, but what I would tell you is this. I think it's a balance. And, you know, we recently launched a new innovation called No Bread PBJ away from our chocolate line, because cocoa went up through the roof. And consumers are loving it. And we're getting random messages from consumers that didn't know us on social media saying, oh my God, I found this product. It's so good. It's part of my life. So I could tell you that is nothing to do with who we are. That's just discovery, distribution, infrastructure working really well, price and product.
The product, that's the second half of the equation.
I think the extra juice that comes is from personality. And why? Because in a world of AI, and I'm a fan of AI, but in a world of AI, we have access to a lot of information, all of us, tools. And if you use it right, we can all pretty much elevate, right? But the thing about people using the same tools is there's a lot of sameness and somewhat of similar things. So the moment you are yourself and you are different, you become refreshing, you become exciting. And like, I noticed the last conference I've been doing, there are more people there because people want the physicality. So I've studied how to be physical and to be out there and to perform, which is actually bringing a different enterprise value, which people would have laughed before going to physical things. It's like, oh, you can only touch 20, 30 people or 100 people. You could do that way more with digital or just on a Zoom. Don't go do that 10-person classroom. It's useless. The truth is it's opposite of useless, because feelings are something that people crave today more than ever. They're looking for it. We're in a lonely time. It's so intimate and lonely that you got to give that intimacy, and everything computerized isn't intimate. We're like super connected, but not connected. So as weird as that sounds. So I don't know, for us, I think the enterprise value, yes, is product first actually, but I think the juice that we're getting, the extra excitement, the extra momentum, and the relationships we're building is coming from the personalities, the being emotion, to being physically out there and showing who we are, not just like being like everybody else.
Let's talk about being everyone else, because the Midday Square story, you guys being very vulnerable, showing up online, sharing it all. You were very early to do that. But I feel like now there are so many people who are showing up in the same way. Do you think that there is still an opportunity to stand out online when everyone is being vulnerable and authentic and kind of letting everyone in?
I think it's less effective, and I'll say this with a caveat. I was at lunch yesterday with a lovely lady, brilliant, someone I look up to, and she brought up that so many people are doing that same strategy, and we haven't spoken in a long time, and she's just like, I'm seeing it, and she's like, what do you feel from it? I'm like, listen, I'm happy that people are sharing their story, because it takes courage to share your story, and you build the muscle of courage, you start to advance in life. Forget about business, just life. You become a stronger person, you have more tools. But when everyone's doing something similar, or people are trying to be like others while they're sharing their story, oh, I got to do more like him or her, that's when things get a little bit inauthentic or a little bit uncomfortable to watch. And then it deflates the content, and it makes it like everything's the same again. And again, I just said at the beginning, conformity is not great. So I think the only way for this to succeed is if you're going to share your story, it's got to be your story 100%, or the values you believe in. That's number one, because it's unique to you. Your DNA is unique and your story is unique. Number two, it's got to be, you got to think about it not just as sharing for the sake of sharing, but actually evoke emotions, make people feel something. And if you can't do that, I think that the story of this vulnerability, or in quotations, it might not connect as hard. We were getting massive amounts of virality at the beginning because no one was doing it. So this was unique. It was different. Now that a lot of people are doing it, it's like, well, what else? They're asking that same question. It seems like it's not good enough just to share that, which is a strange thing because I believe it's still good enough. The fact that you have the courage to share your story is in itself, it's a blessing. It's a miracle. And it shows that the world is moving like they're progressing forward because being scared before to share it is just a story you tell yourself. But you're right, it's flooded with very similar content. So you got to find out what is still unique about your story and make sure to go all in on that in an authentic way. So not just sharing for the sake of sharing, but sharing what is truly different about your story. That way you can connect because you're right, there's an overload. And I don't know if that's going to continue to work the way it worked for us. We've changed the strategy too.
How have you changed the strategy?
Instead of showing like everything like underdog story, like behind the scenes, we've now just like, we just do bigger campaigns. We do things that are relatable to more people generally. It's not just building our product in our condo kitchen and running around and hand delivering. That's just not who we are today. So the stories, it's evolved. And now we got to learn how to evolve. And we're going through a bit of a, I wouldn't say crisis, but a bit of an identity understanding
you're
who we are.
Growing up.
Yeah, but we don't know what to we don't know how to share it, what to share. So like, I'm not an expert on storytelling. I just did it early on. Now it's like, okay, well, how do we find our voice now that we're not a startup in a small condo kitchen anymore? We sell in 10,000+ stores. We're in 2 different countries. It's no longer me hand delivering product, even though I still love doing it occasionally and I still do it. But it's how do we tell that story now to people that have never seen us in New York City that are trying our product for the first time or seeing it on social media? They're not going to look at this like story that we told 7 years ago. It's irrelevant today. So we're learning how to deal with that. And that's a forever learning, I believe. And the moment you don't believe it's a forever learning is when you're going to fall behind potentially in both marketing and life and just general business. So we're learning. We're in this like weird phase right now.
Yeah. You're like adolescent.
Yeah, where puberty's hitting. Like it's not great, but it's meant to be. And what comes out of this will probably be even greater.
It's a beautiful problem to have.
It is. But it's scary. You play mind games too. You go like, well, do I know how to take content? Am my story interesting? You start to get a little more fear. You stop bringing the child out inside of you. Like when we started this business, I was like a child in a good way. Like I didn't care. I was just like, I'm sharing raw, unfiltered Jake Karls, wild, shirt off, dancing in grocery stores, didn't care about getting in trouble, always a kind person. So always never did anything unkind, or I didn't try to. I was always me being me and having fun. But then slowly I started to get a little frightened. Like last week I was supposed to do something on the streets in Montreal and like give out squares. And I used to always just scream, dance, yell, throw bars. Now I'm worried about liability. What if I hit someone in the head with a bar? But I don't know where that came from. That fear built up recently. And it makes me sad inside because I look back at the content on my phone, sometimes in bed, and I see the Jake that was in the startup phase that had a lot less to lose, I guess, but was unapologetic, was immature in the best way possible, and had the child come outside of me. And now I question it, and it scares me because I want to bring that child out again in a strategic way, not in a reckless way. But I don't know, like I don't just go jumping in an Apple store blasting music and throwing bars anymore. I used to. Got in trouble, got kicked out.
Incredible.
It's part of the game.
Did you ever get arrested?
No, I've never been arrested.
That's surprising to me.
Security's come to me, but like I'm a kind person, so like I'll just be like, I'm sorry.
He's
like,
harmless.
I'm always look at this. You think it's harmless? Yellow glasses, whacked out hair, exhausted looking half the time. Haven't shaved. I got to shave tomorrow. Friday when I get home, I'm going to get my barber to shave.
You look great.
Thank you. But the truth is that that's a big thing. As we get older, we tend to forget what made us great. And our story has changed, and that's important. But how do you take what makes you great and put it to your new story?
I really relate to this, Jake, because when I first moved to America in 2018, same year you launched Midday Squid. It's a great year for taking risks. I moved to America and I started doing a vlog. And I was recording these videos on my iPhone and posting them on YouTube for my friends back home. And I stopped after about a year. And I wish I continued because very early, and I was posting about my dating life and like all this shit that today I would never. And so me deciding to do this podcast and like record chats with some of the smartest people I know is like my way of getting outside my comfort
But your
zone
new story,
again.
right? Coming back to that, it's your new story.
Yeah, my background as a journalist. I'm like, okay, how am I contributing now? What content am I putting out now as someone who like has a PR agency, used to be a journalist, loves chatting to people.
And you love storytelling. And
storytelling's the best.
Your personality is amazing. And like
Thank
it's
you,
coming out right now. Like you're feeling I feel the energy on the other side of the microphone. But like that, like you're right. Like what happens to us as humans that like we do these things and then we get fearful or we get scared or we start to tell ourselves don't do it. That's what worries me. And like, I'm trying to fight that, but I'm not the same Jake as I was at 25. I have similar values, but I'm a different person. Our business is very different. We've grown a lot. We have a lot more responsibility, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't have the child that makes me great. Like the person that likes to prank call people, the person that likes to dance every day. Like that's what makes me me. But sometimes I get scared to share it today because I'm so worried about I have paranoia.
Yeah.
I never had
liability.
I never had that paranoia.
I think it's harder as you get older.
And I don't even have kids yet.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited one day to have.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
You were crying on camera. Your family was having meltdowns on camera long before it was popularized. What is the line between like authenticity and being performative?
Yep.
Like how do you navigate that line? Because you are like one of the most high energy people I've never met. And like, I don't know if people can feel it on camera, but I feel like most people's resting state is like a 4 or 5.
I have high
You're
heart
like
rate.
at an 8.
I'm like on like caffeine, like 24/7.
I feel like if there was like a commercial for like Adderall, it would just be you.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
But like, what is the line between like authentic and like
it's a
being
very thin line.
performative, right?
It's a very thin line. And I'll tell you why. Like people are going to judge you the way they judge you. And the only way to keep doing it and winning is to just keep showing up. And you're right. I cried on camera many times and some people said very mean things and it made me feel like shit, to be honest.
I'm also an ugly crier.
I was an ugly crier. Yeah.
You, me, Kim Kardashian, who else?
It's not the hottest look for me, but what I did was what happened was it was truthfully what happened. And I knew that inside. I knew that what I was sharing was truthful and maybe someone will relate to it and it could help somebody. And if it sells chocolate, great too. That's a secondary thing. But what ended up happening was people say mean comments and they judge. And I just kept showing up to be myself and showing hardships, showing moments of obstacles, of moments of greatness, rejection. And then they start to respect me more because like, he's not being performative. He's being himself because you know when someone's real and when someone's not. It's very easy in today's world to feel a certain way. Your gut tells you. Once you believe and trust your gut, it will tell you when something's off or when something's on. Something's real and when something's not. Now, do I share my crying self anymore? No, I don't. I share the vulnerability in a very different way. I share it like I'll do a written piece on LinkedIn, for example, saying like,
it's very grown up of you.
Yeah, it's very grown up. I'm not crying. I'll show a picture of me in like the same clothes I've been wearing for a week, exhausted in a suitcase. And I'll say like, here's my life. Like I get to do cool things, but it's really fucking hard.
That
and
hit when I saw that picture of you.
But you know what I mean? That's my way of doing it today. But I think, look, we're judgmental as humans, unfortunately. So like when you see someone crying, your instinct's not like, not I'm not saying you, but generally people are like, is this real or is this not real? Which it shouldn't be the case. It should just be like, this is someone going through something. And if you get scammed because they're not, then that is what it is. Like, screw it. I'd rather get scammed, to be honest with you, and feel for someone. And then have the chance to reach out and say, are you okay? Can I help? Yeah. Because like, we're still humans. And at the end of the day, even if it's behind a business, even if someone's selling something from it, if they're truly going through it, then it's your duty to help them. It's your duty to at least say something encouraging.
It's beautiful.
Because it's very easy to say, look at this person. They're crying. What are they doing? It's embarrassing. This is fake. But that's a negative energy.
Yeah.
It's a negative energy.
So I have clients that are not in the consumer packaged goods industry. One of them's an investment bank. They're payments companies, very serious stuff.
Yep.
I don't think the head of the investment bank wants to cry on LinkedIn. So for anyone who's listening to this that's like, love what Jake's doing, all about it, can't like really be that vulnerable, what can they learn or take from your playbook or for your like operating system on building a successful company that gains attention in this economy?
So I would say it's hard, but it's simple, but it's hard. And why it's simple but hard is because if you're in an industry where compliance is a thing, or you don't want to look,
Yawn.
you don't want to do, if you're in finance and like you can't start crying, you shouldn't start crying on camera because XYZ, then why don't you look at what everyone else is doing in your space and then do something slightly different in content that is compliant, that is not crying on camera, but it's completely a little bit more bold or a little bit more like different. And the moment you do that is it's going to stand out because everyone knows you for XYZ, and then you do YXZ, you change it up.
Right.
But it's still true to you. And if it's not true to you, it's going to catch up. So don't do things that aren't true to you, because at the end of the day, you're going to feel bad about it. You're going to feel strange. You're going to be uncomfortable. Do what's true to your values, as long as you're following the industry compliance that you're in. Because what I do, I could cry, I could do crazy stuff, I could go half naked. The consequences are a lot less than other things, other industries. But that's because I built my character to be that way. So people, it's not excusable, but it's like, that's who Jake is. And I respect him for being him. You need to find what that is for you, and what or your clients or what they're doing for their industry. It might not be crying. It might be getting up in the morning and talking about their morning routine to go win greatness. That could still connect because it's relatable to humans. The moment you start talking just about your industry of just, like, let's say, finance, you close off a lot of people from your content, because maybe not a lot of people are into finance. They just don't know about it. So relate to people at a more general level. Chocolate bars don't relate to everybody. PBJs don't. But when I start talking about traveling and not being around my wife, but I'm trying to build my greatness, you start to pique curiosity. You're like, well, I'm going through a little bit of that in my life. Who is this person? What's their business? And next thing you know, I have a potential client, or I have a potential relationship building. So find that. What is the relatable piece of your life that you could share that's not too vulnerable, not too wild, not too crazy, compliant within whatever you have to do, but it's slightly different. It's more relatable to everybody.
It's beautiful. Good advice too, to like not be really, unless you want to, but it doesn't have to just be about your industry or the work that you're doing. It's about like the journey, what you're trying to build, values, going against the grain, whatever.
Because somebody might not be in finance, but might know someone that's very relevant to you. So like, for example, let's say someone doesn't care about food and snacks, but like they appreciated my story about travel, and their best friend is actually the buyer of this massive retailer, they're best friends. And then now she's going to her, the buyer, and saying, this brand is on fire. You got to check them out. Boom. That's because I shared my story. Again, the story didn't have to be for the audience specific to food and beverage. It was to somebody that was relatable, that wanted to help because it meant something. There was an emotion, there's a feeling. So I think a lot of people just get so focused on their niche and so focused on their stuff that they forget to just share the wider story. And people always say, dude, niche. I agree with certain things, niche is good. But at the end of the day, wide, you open your surface area. Again, no pun intended with your podcast. The surface area has to increase. And with the internet and social media, you have the ability to reach anybody, almost anybody. It takes one person to change your life forever. It takes one person to see your picture, one person to read your LinkedIn post, one person to read your X, one person to watch the video that you were posted in on a podcast and says, I want to be part of your life. And then boom, your whole life changes.
You talk about how attention is, currency, storytelling is very crucial. Your job is Rainmaker. What is your belief about how a successful company is built today?
People. I think people are critical to an organization. Midday Squares wouldn't be where it is without our team. Our CFO came in a couple of years back. She structured the business. She brought the soul that we were bringing, the hard entrepreneur startup culture. She brought a corporate structure mixed with that, allowed us to be us, but built a structure, process, systems, which allowed us to scale, get more products, people, get the brand to be out there more. So that's number one. Number two, product market fit to any brand. So let's say you're a service or a product. You must build this with data, or you must build it there has to be a solving of a problem. They can't just, unfortunately, bad products sometimes they get attention just because they're good at storytelling and marketing, but they don't get the repurchase. So the party's over. So we said team, people, product market fit, and last but not least, sharing out loud all the time, all platforms, whatever platform fits you, start sharing all in on that. Why? Because we said it before, it takes one person to buy your product, one person to invest in you, one person to hear your story and say, I want to work with you, one person to go on a date with you and marry you. So I would say to you is those three things at least will give you the best chance at success. And it doesn't give you the success, it gives you the best chance at the opportunity of success. And I would say the last but not least personally is you should live an on-average life. You shouldn't go out every day and make decisions based on what others are doing. You shouldn't make decisions based on, risk aversion. You shouldn't make decisions based on following the herd. You should make decisions on that's true to you, unapologetically you. Trust your gut, Follow your instincts. Take massive risks. You get one life. If you live in an average life of inputs, you're going to get an unaverage life of output. So it's going to be crazy outcomes. And there's no such thing as a failure if you choose to learn from it. So it's a learning and a win. And I think that that's where people miss the boat, and especially in business and in personal life. They don't want to live an unaverage life. They're scared. Those four things, you win big.
Great advice.
Or you have a chance of winning big.
In Australia, we would say you've got to risk it to get the biscuit.
I like that. I don't know if we say that here, but
we're going to put that on a t-shirt.
You get a cookie, no? Oh,
it doesn't rhyme as well. You got to risk it to get the cookie. You know, it doesn't rhyme so well.
On lâche pas. On lâche pas is the saying in French, which means we don't give up. We just keep going.
What's the saying?
On lâche pas.
On lâche pas?
On lâche pas.
Oh, damn.
By the way, I have a saying, people, again, being different. Randomly, I heard someone once say, frappe-moi, comme ça, allez, dis-moi. Okay, these are basically French words. One means hit me, frappe-moi, hit me. Allez means go. Comme ça means like this. And then dis-moi means tell me. And I would just yell this on Instagram stories. Frappe-moi, comme ça, dis-moi, allez, woo! Next thing you know, I have people from all over the world saying, what are you saying? It's such good energy, such good vibes. People want to do work with me because they're like, this guy's off the wall. He's saying crazy shit. I like what he's saying. So boom. Good. Nothing to do with chocolate.
You're
nothing
unreal.
To do with selling a bar. But it has to do with relatability and fun and entertainment and emotions. And it works.
I could chat to you all day, but we have to wrap it up. Let's do rapid fire. Okay?
Hit me with your best. That's a good song.
What is it?
Frappe-moi.
Frappe-moi.
Comme ça. Dis-moi.
Dis-moi.
Oh, you're good. Your French is good.
How do you say thank you in French?
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. God, my French high school teacher would kill me. Okay. Best business advice you ignored?
Shit, that's a hard question. Best business advice ignored. They told us not to build our own manufacturing plant.
And you did.
And we did.
Good for you. Worst advice everyone gives founders?
That you can build something quick. And what I mean by that is everything takes time.
Dude,
there's anomalies and
like twice as long as you think it's going to take. And even then.
Yeah. So like it's not as simple as they say.
Yeah. One step that founders can take tomorrow to start expanding their surface area.
Take your phone out, take a video in your house and talk about something for 1 minute, put it on a Google Drive, put the date, do the same thing tomorrow, do the same thing the next day, and then start posting it. But if you get comfortable with the idea of captivating content, you're starting to watch yourself in the world of digital and you're starting to actually get yourself into the muscle of being able to take content. And you'll start to see it's not so hard. I think a lot of people just don't share content. They don't take content. And I think that they have to in this world of, again, in the world of AI, in the world of social media, in the world of the internet. You got to increase your surface level. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to go do it.
Whose content do you actually enjoy watching? Who's your favorite person right now to watch?
Honestly, like, there's this, okay, it's going to sound wild. There's this guy on TikTok. His name's Justin. I don't know his last name. He dances Zumba classes and he's the funniest, most high energy, high octane person. And why I love it so much is because I love dancing.
You do.
I love giving people energy. And he makes me feel alive. And if he can go bring that energy, I can do that too. Maybe I'm not the best dancer, but it gives me momentum to go out and win in that sense. And one of my best assets is my energy. So when I don't feel motivated to do my energy, it's a loss for the company. It's a loss for me. So he gives me that juice, and I've been watching him like crazy lately. That's weird beautiful. Type of strange type of thing to be as a content creator, but he is unbelievably talented at what he does.
Fun.
Justin, I can't remember. I'll get his name after, but it's something. I'll look it on my TikTok.
That's fun. Who's someone that I should have on the show next?
There's a guy named Aaron Spivak. He's a friend of mine. He sold his business. It was a blanket business, Hush Blankets, I believe it was called.
Blanket business.
Yeah. And then he now started a founder community called Founders Club.
Awesome. He's
very bold, very interesting, and he has a lot of knowledge and a lot of good stories, and he has conviction. I think conviction's contagious. And yes. I think he'd be a great guest because he switched industries. He cares about entrepreneurs a lot, and he's loud, he's wild, and he's on to his second. His first venture was a success in whatever people deem success. And his second venture is very community driven. I think community is extremely important in today's world.
Jake, thank you so much for coming on the show, for preaching a message of authenticity, being yourself and sharing all of your lessons. I'm really grateful to call you a friend and really appreciate you being here.
We win together.
We do. Thank
Woo!
you. Woo!
Fat moi.